Hey guys, what's going on? Tommy Oliver here, and this is Rebel Pixels, a channel all about empowering and impassioning the DIY creator here on the web. And today, we're going to be talking about the two kinds of art we make at the same time.
Rebel Pixels.
So whenever we make a piece of art, no matter what the format is, no matter what the medium, we're really simultaneously creating two pieces. The two pieces I call the concept and the construct. So the concept is the idea. It's the initial spark we have that kind of inspires us to make the piece in general. It's unbound by any physical limitation. It's all in our heads. It's all imagination. And in imagination, we kind of go on these flights of fancy and concepts of grandeur. And we imagine something flawless and perfect and amazing, and we get really excited and we want to do it. So that's the concept. And the concept continues to develop throughout working on the entire piece. But as soon as pencil hits paper, as soon as, fingers hit keyboard, as soon as you hit record on your camera, whatever, the second piece is also born, and that's the construct. That's the physical item. That's the idea channeled through your ability. And because it becomes a physical, tangible object, and it's made by an imperfect being, us, human beings, it inherently cannot measure up to the grandeur of the concept. And we begin to resent the concept for that, and we in turn begin to resent ourselves for not being able to capture that magic that was the initial idea. And I do this all the time. I always kick myself for all of my projects not being as good as they kind of were envisioned. And it's really fucking annoying. But something that I have to keep telling myself, and something I kind of am inviting you all to kind of consider today when working on your pieces, is that this is normal, right? We kind of chase perfection and we try and kind of make it as great as we envisioned it. But the problem is it's never going to happen. This kind of degradation from concept to construct is a natural part of the process, and every person who ever has made anything, this happens to, even if they don't tell you, straight up. It's just an inevitable consequence of doing what we do, because again, a concept exists in the imagination, and it's unbound by our limitations, and it's also unbound by tangible reality. So because our imagination isn't physical, we don't kind of imagine it exactly how it would be, even if we have a really good kind of visual memory, or visual kind of subconscious, if you want to call it that. So we kind of just filter out the bad and just focus on the good, and that doesn't happen in real life, obviously. So we're bound by our physicality, we're bound by our imperfections, and we're bound by the limits of our current skill level. And to kind of keep sitting here and trying to chase that and get it to be as good as our initial concept will never happen, because no matter how much better the piece gets, and no matter how much better our skills get, our idea of perfection moves in sync with that, right? So if you think about 10 years ago, where your art skill was, if you had saw someone else doing your level of work today 10 years ago, wouldn't you be like, man, I wish I could do that? And that was exciting for you. That was beyond your kind of comprehension. And if you could do that, you would have been crazy, mind blown if you could draw the way you do, or whatever it is you do now 10 years ago. But now you're there, and there's still another goal farther off that you feel like you can never reach. And this is the curse of trying to live for the concept, because it always moves in perfect sync with our progress. We're never going to reach it. It's never going to happen. So kind of just realize that that degradation is essential to getting something done, because if we kind of become slaves to the concept and try and bring the concept and perfection into the world, it's never going to happen. The greatest art in the world isn't worth a damn if no one gets to see it, right? I mean, the greatest art isn't worth anything because no one gets to see it, so it basically doesn't even exist. So if you sit here in your room and you're slaving over one perfect piece, you're never going to get anywhere. You're never going to further kind of your goals, or become more well-known, or gain an audience, or any of that. You're never going to get feedback because you're not releasing anything. It's better to release something flawed than slave over an unattainable goal of perfection. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. The two different kinds of art that you make every time you make a piece. Remember that the construct is always going to be less shiny, less shimmery, and less kind of magical than the concept, and that's okay. Not only okay, it's unavoidable. So, until next time, I'm Tom Oliver. This is Rebel Pixels, reminding you guys, we might be indie, but doesn't mean that we're alone. Catch you on the next one.